Now I'm going to talk about the Daniel 11th chapter. From the beginning till now, what's happening and what will happen. Do you want me to tell this history? Because it's nice to know how God has long back has predicted what is going to happen and things coming true. Kada?
Please, Auntie, please.
So, ఇవాళ 10th chapter, Daniel 10th chapter, first verse lo, Daniel was given the book of truth. That is the 11th chapter. If we read the verse, in the third year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a revelation was given to Daniel, who was Belshazzar. His message was true and it concerned a great war. The understanding of the message came to him in a vision. The vision of comes to picture. And in the last verse of 10th chapter, 21st verse lo చెప్తాడు. But first I will tell you that is what is written in the book of truth. So chapter 11 is known as book of truth. And there is no other, this shows the master's plan of God from the beginning till the end. All 45 verses are there. It was the only chapter in the Bible and sealed until the time of the end. Daniel 12th 9 lo చెప్తాడు, you seal it, because in Revelation it's open again. Revelation it opens again. So he tells beforehand what happens and he says to seal it and he sealed it. So the first verse says, in the first year of Darius, the Mede, the kings of Babylon, and Darius was ruling, and Daniel wanted to support him, because God said Persia and Mede will combine and take half of it. So he was supporting him to protect him. Then the God's truth the book he talks. Second verse. Now then, I tell you the truth. 3 more kings will appear in Persia, and then a fourth who will be far richer than all others. When he has gained power by his wealth, he will stir up everyone against the kingdom of Greece. So Cyrus was king of Persia first, and he has 3 sons. One is names you don't bother, So one is Cambyses, 2. He would the Cyrus was a king from 539 BC, and Cambyses, the son, was 530 to 523. He reigned, and second son Badia, he ruled from 523 to 520. He only ruled 7 months, because the people, the next son Darius thought this Badia is already dead and he is only impostor of Badia, and he killed him. Actually, it was a mistake. Then the third son Darius, this is the fellow, third son, Cyrus's third son Darius the Mede now, whom Daniel is supporting. The third son of Cyrus is in rule. He ruled from 522 to 486 BC. He had a son, Xerxes I. Xerxes I, he is the one, the third verse says about him, the mighty king will appear who will rule with great power and do as he pleases. So this is the mighty king is Xerxes will come after Darius. That is in the second verse itself. He will start. He says, or when he has gained power, that is the son of Darius. When he has gained power by his wealth, he will stir up everyone against the kingdom of Greece. That is Xerxes I, 586 to 565. He ruled, peak of Persian Empire, when he was king of Persia, and he Persian Empire was at peak and had a greater population, and Persian Empire he has extended. because in 480 BC, he invaded Greece. We said no there in that verse, he says, he stirred up everyone against the kingdom of Greece. So he goes and invades Greece and sacked Athens. But the army he left there was defeated. 1 year only he was there. Next year, the army he left there was defeated. So that ended the expansion of empire into Europe. Greek empire revolted when brought the death of Persian empire. So the empire Xerxes won. This Darius' son next comes and fights with Greece and gets the Athens, and 1 year he takes charge. Then his army is defeated and he loses the big expansion of the Persian thing. Then the third verse says, then mighty king will appear. He will rule with great power, do as he pleases. After he has, then fourth verse says, after he has appeared, his empire will be broken up, parallel out towards the four winds of heaven. It will not go to his descendants, nor will it have the power he exercised, because his empire will be uprooted, given to others. So, this great king we all know, Alexander the Great, he was in Greece. He ruled in Greece. And from there, he conquered all the surrounding places. Alexander the Great came into 332 to 323. And from Greece he came, conquered the entire Persian Empire in about 4 years. So first the Xerxes was taken to Greece, but he lost it in 1 year. And then Alexander came and he won the whole Persian Empire and he has extended. That's what they said, a powerful king will come. And Alexander, death is very early, 32 years he died. Alexander, very young. Next 4 empires would only share them. Then his commanders, 4 commanders, they have divided the place into 4 areas, regions, and they won. They are Ptolemaic Empire, they call it. They actually, Egypt accepts them after Pharaoh, and he rules Egypt. And and then the next 4 empires would only empires and share the Middle East. Middle East they have taken. So Ptolemon, Ptolemy. When Ptolemy, Seleucid empires are very important for Alexander. 323 to 308, and she takes part of the south area, and Seleucid takes the north. And they divide the part into south, north, west, and east. So south is taken by the Ptolemy. Seleucid takes the north, 323 to 13. Seleucid rules for a long time, whereas Ptolemy rules only 323 to 308, whereas Seleucid 323 to 130 BC. And Roman Byzantine Empire the next one comes. That is the Roman Empire will come, and Lysimachus ruled Thrace. See, Ptolemy ruled Egypt and North Africa. Seleucid ruled Syria, Mesopotamia, and Persia. Lysimachus ruled Thrace, Asia Minor, now known as Bulgaria, and Western Turkey. Cassander, the fourth one, 4 people have divided it, ruled Macedonia or Greek peninsula. Then 4 winds refer to the next 4 empires that ruled north and south and east and west, but none ruled entire Middle East like the Babylonians. When Babylon was there, all the Middle East is under Babylon. But now with Alexander dying, because he has no heir for him, he died very young. So there 4 people, his commanders, have taken the part. And first two winds refer to the Ptolemy, and Seleucid empires, and they controlled the north, Mesopotamia, that is the Ptolemy controlled the north, Egypt, and the Seleucid controlled the north, Mesopotamia, and Ptolemy controlled the south, which is Egypt and West Turkey. In many battles, they could not defeat the others. Ptolemy dynasty was accepted by the Egypt. Egypt accepts Ptolemy very well. And they took them as their king. And when the queens were there, they were called Cleopatra, Arsinoe, and Bernice. And they were called very names. The most famous last dynasty is Cleopatra 7. Cleopatra 7 was the last in that. And political battles between Julius Caesar and Pompey, and later between Octavian and Mark Antiochus, but eventually conquered by Rome. The cause for the and then Cleopatra tries a lot to keep her kingdom, Egypt, but Romans will come and invade and they will defeat her. Then she commits suicide because they could not keep the kingdom. And Roman dominated and defeated the last two generals. Then they fought with Lysimachus and Cassander by 168 BC, and they conquered that also. And Romans have conquered Palestine also. So from this four generals, the Romans have come up. Romans have become very powerful. They have taken the Egypt and Mesopotamia, and conquered they took Egypt and north and south, and they have taken, the Romans have taken and they made it Byzantine Empire. That is the west. That is the Palestine was conquered, and then conquered Egypt, and then Ptolemy dynasty ended in 330 BC. So they conquered the Palestine in 63 BC, and that is the Byzantine Empire. Then fourth was the Roman Sassanid Empire. That is also 63 to, that is 130 BC. When the Alexander was taken up, 130 BC to 651. That is AD. They came from the BC to AD. They so long they ruled. They call this Roman Sassanid. The other one is Roman Byzantine. They call those names. We may not remember, but it is two Roman type of kingdoms have come up. And then the fifth one, the king of the south, will become strong. Fifth verse, you are reading, seeing the Daniel, no? I am reading in English, but you must be having in Telugu. So she says the king of the south will become strong, but one of the commanders will become stronger, but one of his commanders will become even stronger than he and will rule his own kingdom with great power. So king of the south. Then this is the time Islam becomes. Islam starts in the world. Islam is started in the world, and that's and this was they started this is in Daniel 11:5 we are reading, no? So the king of south will become strong, but one of the commanders will become stronger, and they will become even, one more commander becomes even stronger, Then he and will rule his own kingdom with great power. This describes the rule of Islam. Islam has started then as a religion. In addition to the conquering the entire Middle East, they spread a new religion into the minds of the people. They conquered the empire, and religion originated from Arabs who descended from Abraham. That is Ishmael. Ishmael's people, Arabs, have started the Muslim religion. That is after the Alexander the Great died, and after his 4 generals were defeated, and after Romans and all were taken up, these people will fight, and then they become the Muslims take over. And just as Israelites did, although Arab rule was interrupted from time to time, they continued to occupy the region. The new religion continued to thrive and is the main opposition to Israel today. Israel is the Isaac's inheritance, whereas Ishmael's inheritance is Palestine. That's why they both all the time fighting. That's how it is. So in Islam, the origin of Islam, the kingdom of South is Muhammad Empire. That was called that time when they have taken it. Muslims have taken it. They called it Muhammad's Empire. And those days they designate the empires and dynasty as a Rashidun caliphate. Muslims call the dynasty as a caliphate. And that name originated in the Arabian Peninsula. Term caliphate is in the Muslim word for empire or dynasty. Caliphate, Califhat. Muslim word for empire for that, and the leader is called, whoever rules the caliphate, the dynasty, is called caliph. Caliphate is ruled by caliph. That is Muslim names for them, and which means successor to the ruler, caliph. Caliphate is the dynasty, and caliph is the ruler. And the caliph, he is the messenger, he is the successor of Muhammad, messenger of God. They call Muhammad, prophet. There were 4 successive to Muhammad, successors in the Rashidun Caliphate. They call that caliph the thing which Arabs have taken the whole empire, and they called it Rashidun Caliphate. And that had Muhammad had 4 caliphate, and there were 4 successors to Muhammad. First is the Ali Abu Bakr, his father-in-law. Actually, when Muhammad dies, Fatimat is his daughter, Ali his son-in-law. They were not allowed. They were busy with the funeral and all those, mourning and all. Then his father-in-law feels this Muhammad started Islam religion will die. So he started taking up, and he continued the Islam religion, and then other 2 people were there, and Ali, son-in-law, all 4 were there. Many thought Ali should have been the first. Actually, many thought Ali is the wife's daughter's husband. He should have taken over. But Abu Bakr has taken it up. So that's the reason now we find, the Sunni and Shiite. What is this? Sunni is people who do not belong to Muhammad's family rule the Muslims. Anybody can rule. Whereas Shiite is somebody who is connected with the family of Muhammad only has to rule. That's why Ali is supposed to be the person for the successor, but Abu Bakr has taken. Abu Bakr's things become the Sunni, and Ali's become the Shiite, And then the commander, this Ali, no, not Ali, Abu Bakr has the people put up the ruling the whole Middle East. 620 to 661. There was a powerful commander, Munian, Mavian, his name is. He's a governor of Syria, and the Uthman was the one who Abu Bakr has first appointed as a caliph, that ruling the caliphate. Then another powerful commander he comes, who works under him, is the Mawian, and he's a governor of Syria. Under he's one of the commanders under Ottoman, and he did not accept Ali. He felt they have taken over, Ali should not take up, because they started with Ali another portion, another set, and then he has killed him. Ali came to power and started his own kingdom from Damascus. The kingdom is known as Rashidiyam Caliphate. The assassination of Ali was, he kills him. He assassinates Ali, son-in-law of Muhammad. And Ali created a division in Islam, and which still exists today. That is the Sunni and Shiite. Ali descendants were Shiite, and that is because related to Muhammad. People who are not related to Muhammad, through Abu Bakr and Uthman and all the people, they become Sunnis. We have more Sunnis. 80% of the Sunnis believe, the Mawiyan. Mawiyan is the one who killed Ali and started the Sunni division of Islam, which makes up about 85% of Muslims who believe that anyone can serve as a caliph. Anybody can rule the caliphate. That is the place they are ruling. And the Shiites also believe that only Muhammad's family should have become caliph. So the difference between the Sunni and Shiites, we know now they both are all the time fighting. Family should have become caliph. They still consider Ali to be the rightful caliph. The Shiites also believe that certain descendants of Muhammad, known as Imams, have special spiritual and political. They feel the relatives of Muhammad have special spiritual and political positions in Islam. The largest sect of Shiites, called Twelvers, believe that there were only 12 Imams in history, and last one will return someday. That belief is discussed in verse 36. It discusses, because it concerned end times. And the hostilities between Sunni and Shiite play a major role in biblical end times. Now Iran is up very high. Iran is the one which plays the whole game in the last 10 days, because Shiites. Then we'll come to Iraq also. That's why the Islam religion has two sects, so they cannot work unitedly. So they cannot achieve what they want to do. Then after some years, they will become Alice, the daughter of King. So we talked about the Mawian, who is a very powerful one who killed Ali, and then he starts the Sunni and Shiites. Sunni is the one which doesn't need any family member of Muhammad to become. Whereas Shiites, definitely family member. 12 are there which have a special spiritual and political powers. So after this Mawian rules Damascus very powerfully, and then after some years, 6th verse, king will become Alice, the daughter of king of south will go to the king of the north to make an alliance, but she will not retain power, and he and his power will last. In those days, she will be handed over together with her royal escort and her father's, the one who supported her. So this is permanent split in the team. Mulayyan signed a treaty with Hassan, Ali's son, Muhammad's grandson. So that one who killed Ali, he signs a treaty with Hassan, Ali's son, that means Muhammad's grandson. However, he enticed Jaida, Hassan's wife, to poison him and come north. Yet when she got there, so he tells Hassan was killed by his wife. And then she goes to Muawiyah, but she did not marry Muawiyah's son, Yusuf. They deceived her. She kills and goes to take the kingdom, to own the kingdom, but because he died. Yazid's power did not last because he died and his heir was rejected, So the daughter of, daughter of the one of the kings, Hassan, he made a treaty with him. Then he made her to poison him. And then she goes there, but she doesn't. She says she will get her son married, but she did not marry. And then 7th verse says, one from her family line will arise to take her place. He will attack the forces of the king of the north. King of the north is this Muawiyah. He is a very powerful. He will, take her place. He will attack the forces of the king of the north and enter his fortress. He will fight against them and be victorious. Then the founder of the Fatimid Caliphate, Fatimid Fatimid is the daughter of Muhammad. That's why they call it Fatimid Caliphate. Founder of Fatimid Caliphate traced his ancestry to Muhammad's daughter, Fatimid, whose husband Ali and 2 sons were killed by Sunni. So that Muawiyah, he kills the Hassan, and that's the reason Muharram. Muharram is they beat themselves and all. That means they feel sorry and remember the day when Hassan and his brother, they both 2 sons of Ali, that means Fatimid, are killed. That's the Muharram. They celebrate as Muharram, and they battled all the way to Baghdad and are said to have occupied it for 2 years. They built Cairo and Egypt in 999 to be capital. Then so actually they killed them, and those people will go and fight the Fatimid people, and then they will take over the place from north. So north loses. And the Egypt is developed, Cairo becomes the capital. Then the Sultan Saladin founded Ayyubid Caliphate. They find the one emperor, one place they take, one region, dynasty is known as a caliphate. So they name different names. The first was a Fatimid, that is the daughter of Muhammad. Second is Ayyubid Caliphate. This is 1171 to 1260. 909 to 1171, we said that is the founder Fatimid Caliphate. The person who took this is Susitis. Then this person takes Sultan Saladin. The next one, 1171 to 1260, Sultan Saladin founded Ayyubid Caliphate, which restored the south, but he never attacked Baghdad. That is Iraq. Then the king of the north will invade the realm of the king of the south, but will retreat to his own country. His son will prepare for war and assemble a great army which will sweep on like an irresistible flood and carry the battle as far as his fortress. Then the Mongols take north. Mongols, Genghis Khan amassed a huge empire extending into eastern Persia, but never attacked the Abbasid in Baghdad. Because Abbasid is the one, I think, the Abu, that, what is it? Ayyubid Caliphate. That's like Iraq. Baghdad is the one there. So they did not attack it, but other places they came. This Mongols, Gongay Khan, they call Khans. And he is unique in the fact that he split his empire among many sons. He has many sons and he has divided them among the sons. If we read through the history, all this has happened to spread from generations to generation. Hugalin Khan destroyed Baghdad, took the northern kingdom. That fellow has not taken the northern kingdom, but his son, one of his sons, has taken the northern kingdom. Baghdad was destroyed in 1258 and approached Egypt. Then the king of the south, the 11th verse, then the king of the south will march out in a rage and fight against the king of the north. Because they have taken the northern kingdom, the south king will go to fight against the northern, who will raise a large army, but it will be defeated. North will be defeated. When he goes to fight to take over his thing, then he will be defeated. As Hugalu pursued into Gaza in 1260, 1258, they have taken the Baghdad and northern kingdom. Before that, they have taken the south, So now the Hugali pushed into Gaza into 1260. His brother died. So he returned with most of his army to pick the next great Khan. So these Mongolians are known as Khans. And then these people, next attack of these Mameluks come. They're different names of a different region comes somewhat. The first was Islam, then the Mongols, then Mamelukes. That is the one where now Hagalu is a Mameluk. In Gaza he takes, and then he returns the army to pick the next great Khan, as was the custom. Because his brother died, he wanted to pick another one. His remaining force was attacked by the Mamelukes, who gave the Mongols their first major defeat. So Mongols were ruling, and this Hagalu has got the Gaza, and his brother died, and they were picking a next Khan in his place. Then Mamelukes come and attack the Mongols, and major defeat, and continue to push them out of Syria later that year. So this Syria, Gaza, Israel, Lebanon, all these are very important historical places. This Daniel always talks about all of them, and last now in the entire end of the year, end of the world, they are the ones prominently. Now the Syrian war is going on. That is also given in this, and the major defeat, and they continued, passed them out, Syria, later that year. Yet Ghazal Khan, great grandson of Hugalu, the Mongols, Hugalu was the one who was defeated. His grandson returned with a huge army and pushed south as far as Gaza. Once again, circumstances made them return back. So then the great grandson of Hugalu comes and fights and takes back the sword. 14th verse is, in those times, many will rise again as the king of south. That is the Ghazal Khan. The violent men among your own people will rebel in fulfillment of the vision, but without success. So Mamelukes, they keep the south, but the north divides. So Mamelukes control the south, 1250 to 1517. Osman, founder of the... Then Mamelukes, afterwards, Ottomans come. Ottomans. The last group was Ottomans, which rules the Turkey. Ottomans, who was Turkish and Sunni, like the Mamelukes, has a vision of great empire in 1277. So mostly the Sunnis are fighting, The Sunnis have taken over the Shiite areas. So great empire in 1200. However, in 1402, they were defeated by Timur from Persia, which delayed them expansion into the Middle East. So Ottoman comes and takes over the place. And Ottoman Empire is then the 15th verse says the Ottoman. Then the king of the north will come and build up siege ramps and will capture a fortified city. The forces of the south will be powerless to resist. Even then, best troops will not have the strength to stand. Ottoman Empire united the Middle East and ruled the north and south. So north also they have taken over, south also they have taken over. Both together they ruled from 1570 to 1980. That is the Middle East. Muhammad II captured Constantinople and made it their capital. Constantinople is a Roman. So that Muhammad II comes and captures it and makes it a capital in 1450. That city had not been defeated since it was built by Romans. That city was with the Romans since 330 AD. And then Salim I had captured Syria and Palestine by 1516. So till 330 AD to 1455, the Constantinople is with Romans. Then this Muhammad II came and captured it. Then Salim I has captured Syria and Palestine by 1560. The 16th verse says, the invader will do as he pleases. No one will be able to stand against him. He will establish himself in the beautiful land and will have the power to destroy it. So that's how that means they have taken both north and south and Roman city, Constantinople. Then 17th was, he will determine to come with the might of his entire kingdom and will make an alliance with the king of south. And he will give him a daughter in marriage in order to overthrow the kingdom. But his plan will not succeed to help him. So from there he offered Mamelukes in Cairo, perhaps because they were both Turkish and Sunni own people. In 14th verse says, details of the marriage are scarce, perhaps because the deal did not go through and Cairo was taken by the force army, and that this was written by William Maine, 1896, taken by force by the army. Anyway, so the Sunni people and they wanted to catch over the more places because Cairo was taken, and they wanted Egypt also, but that was taken by the force by them. So that fellow, by giving his daughter to marriage, he could not overthrow the Sunni kingdom. 18 is, then he will turn his attention to the coastlands and will take many of them, but a commander will put an end of his insolence and will turn the insolence back upon him. So by 1571, the Ottomans had established dominance around the coastal lands of the Mediterranean. That is, the Ottomans mostly settled towards the end in the Turkey, coastlands of Mediterranean, but then they eased their ambition for a while. In 1656, the Corpulus became a change of military affairs and invaded, that means the military commander has changed and invaded Europe. The Ottomans were eventually beaten. When they go to fight against Europe, the Ottomans were defeated and lost considerable territory, including Hungary. So Ottomans wanted to extend their kingdom. They went and fought for the Europe, but they did not actually. They lost most of their area and even including Hungary. 19, after all this, he will turn back towards the um, towards the own country, but will stumble and fall to be seen no more. In 1800, Ottoman initiated defensive policy, but continued to lose territory on all fronts. They were inadvertently swept and on the side of Germany, and the Ottoman Empire was seen no more. So Ottomans were very voracious. They have taken from the Mamelukes, and they were both north and south, they combined and they were ruling it. Then they went to fight against Europe, Europe has defeated them, and they have taken most of that area. And then when they wanted to retain the back, but they lost, and the Ottoman kingdom went. But some of the Ottomans were still in Turkish. 20th verse, we will complete with 21st verse. The 20th verse, the successor will send out a tax collector for maintain the royal splendor. In a few years, however, he will be destroyed, if not in anger or in battle. British, then by the time British comes, British takes up 1919 to 1948. After 48, we will know what actually happened. This all we won't know because we were not there. British and the French split the Middle East into national boundaries and assigned leaders to the British were instruments in striking oil and got rich in Iraq. But most of the wells were nationalized in 1961. So the British and French have split the Middle East because Middle East has won when the Ottomans ruled. Then when these people got it, Europe people, they won, no? Europe people. So British and French has split them, and the British were instrumental for oil. Oil is very, in the Iraq and Iran, oil is the most important rich thing it is. So they become very rich, but the wells were nationalized in 1961. In 1972, large disputes were settled in international courts. So that time international courts have come. Ottoman won Syria and passed on to Turkish possession. So Ottomans were in Turkey. Conflict between Egypt and Persia in 1501. Daniel 11:21, with this we'll stop. He will be succeeded by the contemptible person who has not been given, that is the verse I'm reading, honor of royalty. He will invade the kingdom of when the people feel secure, and he will which one? 21 verse, no? I will just read it. This we know, this what happened, 21 verse. How will be succeeded in contemptible person who has not been given honor of royalty? He will invade the kingdom when its people feel secure, and he will seize it through intrigue. This is the one regarding Iran. The verse talks about Islamic revolution. In 1979, there was a very big Islamic revolution in Iran, and the person mentioned in this verse had to achieve a monumental takeover with far-reaching implications, but not to be considered royalty. That is Ayatollah Khomeini. He took over Iran, isn't it? So when the king was sent off and they were running it, Ayatollah Khomeini comes to Iran and takes over, and fits the criteria perfectly. Iran desires an empire sheltering across the Middle East, was confirmed by the president Roshan Adu's son. Ayatollah Khomeini came, and one more new president comes. And because he's a religious and political leader of Ayatollah Khomeini. Then President Roham Adeus, who said uh, Iran was an empire and Iraq is the capital of it, and that Islamia, the country Islamia is pre-Islam. So that means the now this is about Iran that we know. Ayatollah Khomeini, when he came, how he took over. He was actually sent away from the Iran. He was in the neighboring country, but when he had the Iran people have, revolted, then he came and took over. And now Iran is the main place where whole problems come. That's the reason Iran always hates Israel. They want to remove Israel. Then I'll come later on for the Iraq and Saddam Hussein and how America has, invaded it and killed him because he was a Shiite. He was a Sunni. He's the only one Sunni in that place. So they removed Sunni. Now the Shiite is there in Iraq also. So Iraq and Iran will become a big Islamic empire. And now the Assad in Syria, the fight is going on. He is a Shiite. The Sunni people, Saddam Hussein's army is fighting for Syria. That's what now the war is going on. We all hear about the Syria so much. And Russia is supporting Shiite. Iran is supporting one side. And so Iran, Russia, and Iraq and Middle East, that means Muslim countries will go to fight and take Jerusalem, because Jerusalem is supposed to have belonged to Palestine. They claim actually it belongs to Israel. And now because Jerusalem is taken as a capital and all the embassies are moved there, they very much want to take over Jerusalem, and they were refusing to give Israelis old Jerusalem at least. So when they take and go and win the Jerusalem, they will win. When they take the Jerusalem, then the rapture will come. So now most of the other end times finished. Is the only one thing we are waiting. When it happens, we don't know. When they go and take it, rapture will come. So we have to be very alert. We have to be prepared very, clearly. The daily we must wait when it will happen and when we have to go. So I think the whole history is God has ordained. This is the pattern of God, what He wanted to happen. So, we read about Alexander and his 4 commanders, Ptolemy and Seleucid and all those people. Then Islam came, then Mongols came, Mamelukes came, Ottoman came. Ottoman is the last one. Then Europe has taken over. Then we know how Israel got from Europe, from England. That we last time we read, we studied in the, the treaty they made when the Second World War finished. So I think this much today we will finish. I don't know how you like this, because I think it's nice to know how Bible has written and everything has happened according to Bible. That's why I wanted to take verse by verse to know how we can say God, what is written in the Bible, about the whole world is in this Bible. If we read the Bible, it's so important for us to know what happening and what is happening. The Bush War also, that is also a prophecy. So that's how it is. Next time we'll see the Bush War and the Iraq War. Okay. I think it will be nice to know how Bible has written and it has happened. We never knew that Mongols and Mamelukes and Ottomans and they all have ruled. Now also some Ottomans are in Turkey, even they lost the power. So Turkey is their main place. So we must know some history so we can understand what happens. Okay? Let us pray. Long Heavenly Father, thank you and praise you, Lord, for reading, giving us the insight into Daniel 11, a book of truth, which you have predicted for the